Hey everybody, Mr. Stroh here. This is your ultimate practice guide to when the Saints go marching in. Now this one is a doozy. It's just a tricky one for a number of reasons, and we'll get into it. But our objective is going to be to read the rhythms first, then the note names, and then the fingerings for when the Saints go marching in, and then performing them all together. Okay, it's a big task. Now, in order to read the rhythms, we need to take a look here because there's some new stuff. For example, down here in the box, you can see that it tells you all about ties. A tie is a curved line which connects notes of the same pitch. Only the first note is played, and then it is held for the total value of the connected notes. And that means if you have a note that is 1 beat long tied to a note that is 1 beat long, now you have a super note because it's lasting for 2 beats, okay? Or if you have a note that's 4 beats long and it's tied to a note that's 1 beat long, now it lasts for 5 notes. Speaking of notes that are 4 beats long, we have a new rhythm in this song. It's called whole note. You can see down there, it's just a circle with no stem at all. It's just the note head. Those last for 4 beats, and so when we see those, we're just going to say 4. We're going to say 4, okay? And it lasted for 4 beats. That's a whole note. We're just going to call it 4. When you have a dotted half note, that's not new. We had those in the last song. But when you have those, it lasts for 3 beats, and for those we say 3. When you have a half note, a 2, those last for 2 beats. And then ta changes the pattern because ta is 1 beat. Ta. We don't say 1, we say ta. I don't know. I don't know why. Go ask your dad. But that's from that book I read. Anyway, here we are. I think we're ready to read this rhythm. Okay, so it starts on ta. When we have a whole note tied to a ta, then we say 4. Okay, because they're tied, we don't say ta, we say 4 because it's all the same sound. When you play that, you'd go doo on your recorder, and we'll get more to that later, but just for now, we're just going to go 4. Okay, that's what we're going to do because we need a sound that lasts for 5 beats, even though it's really 4 plus 1. Looks like I'm peeking at you through the tall grass. Okay, are you ready to read it with me? Let's give it a shot. If it doesn't go great for you, then afterwards, just go back and practice it over again. But once you've done this a few times, then you'll be ready to move on to the next step. Ta, 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 4. Ta, 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 4. Ta, 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 2, 2, 2, 2, 4. Ta, 2, ta, 3. Ta, 2, ta, 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 3. Ta, ta, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4. That's a tricky one, okay? It's okay if you have to go back and practice that. Most of you will have to practice that several times before you really get a feel for it. The other thing that happened in there is we had a 3, we had a dotted half note tied to a half note. So we had a 3, ooh, right? And when you'd play that, it would go doo. They'd all sound as one sound. Then as we're reading it, we've got 3 plus 2. So go back and practice that until you feel comfortable with all of that, and then you're ready for the next step. Okay, now, once you're done with the rhythm, once you feel good about the rhythm, you're ready to try out the letter names. Now, if you look at the top, it says here pitches G, A, B, C, and high D, okay? And so now 2 of those are new, right? We've got high C and high D. And we haven't played those yet, but we have played G and A and B, so we're good with those. If you look at these first notes, you can see we're going to start on a G. That's your second line. Every good burger deserves fries. There's G. E, G, B, D, F. There's your G. And the next note is another line note, and it's here. It's the B. E, G, B, D, F. Okay, good old G and good old B. We know all about those in recorder karate, and that rhymed. Now, next is some new notes, but they're not new if you know F, A, C, E and E, G, B, D, F, right? Because we have a third space, so that means it's F, A, C. There's your C note right there for the, and then the note here for saints, the old whole note that's been so tricky so far. That's also a new fingering. That's your high D, because E, G, B, D, F. So there's your D, and that's our two new notes. And so besides A that'll come later, that's all of the notes that we have in this song. So it's nice to get them all out of the way early. Now let's say the note names along with the music. You can practice this with me. Say the note names along with the music, and once you're feeling, and that's our step. Here we go. Let's do it. G, B, C, D. G, B, C, D. G, B, C, D. G, B, A, B, A, G. G, B, D, 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 C. B, C, D, B, G, A, G. How'd you do? Be honest with yourself now. If you need to go back and practice it, go back and practice it. If you feel good about both of those steps, then and only then are you ready for the next step. Okay, the next step is the fingerings. Okay, so if you're feeling good about the rhythm, you're feeling good about the note names, then we can take those note names and turn them into fingerings. Now, this is an interesting song because we're back to using only your left hand. This is my left hand, even though it might not match up with you, so make sure you're using your left hand. Only your left hand is going to change. So all your right hand is going to do is you're going to have your thumb on the back there, and it's just going to sit there and anchor your recorder. Right down there. Of course, you know G. G is 3 plus thumb. That's good old G. We have A in this song, and it's 2 plus thumb. We have B, 1 plus thumb. Okay, those are our old songs. We know those. Every single song we've played has G, A, and B in it. But now we have new ones, and you can see down at the bottom, you can see the fingerings for these new notes. The new notes for high C, if you notice the little apostrophe, that just means it's the higher C. Higher C is funny because the pattern finally changes. We've had this pattern of lift a finger, but now in order to go up one step from B, you don't just lift the finger, you lift the finger, but you also have to add a finger. So here's B, 1 plus thumb. Now C, you have to flip to this second finger, your middle finger plus thumb, that's C. B, C. B, C. See what I mean? D is going to be easier if you anchor that recorder right on your chin there. D now is like the C, except for you actually lift the thumb. We've never had a note where we lift the thumb, but for D, it's middle finger plus no thumb. That's the high D. There it is right there, okay? And there goes my lights. We're back. Now let's do the fingerings. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. G, B, C, D. G, B, C, D. G, B, C, D, B, G, B, A, B, A, G, G, B, D, 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 C. B, C, D, B, G, A, G. Yeah. Okay, be honest with yourself. How did you do? It can be very confusing keeping your B and your C and your D all together because they're all very similar. B, C, D. But if you practice it, you'll get it. And if you practice it and you haven't gotten it, then just put it away and come back the next day and try it again. And sometimes just the next day, then it becomes a little bit easier. But with time, eventually, you'll get your B's and your C's and your D's all straight for that one. Now, once you've mastered that, you are ready to put it all together. You've got the rhythm, you've got the note names, you've got the fingerings. Now you're ready to rock this song. And so once you feel like you're ready, then try it right here with me. Here comes When the Saints Go Marching In. Everything all together on the recorder. 2, 3, 4, go. Okay, go back and practice whatever parts you need. Once you're ready, you're ready to perform that. So I can't wait to see what you all come up with.